Please now arouse the motivation of bodhicitta as you begin to listen to this teaching. The mind of awakening that is determined to establish all mother sentient beings, infinite in number as the reaches of space, at the level of perfect, complete and unsurpassable enlightenment. And thinking, in order to do that, I will now listen to this profound teaching and put it into practice.
Number so ngala suwana shinchiki tene kunzup chanchup ge sem dan tondam chanchup ge sem ni korne tene chuji shegu du sene tene dago khang cha kiran so ge tene choso ge tene chokso ge ngal tene song tene tangaran so tene chanchup sem ki gone tene chu tene sheguins.
So I was asked by the chairman of the center, the people representing the Dharma center here, to come and speak about relative and ultimate bodhicitta. So that's what I'll talk about today.
Tindu kanglata changshuk gisam seginti tin chue thamji ge ningbu taw jin du kangla tene dila matem beji ge ten donga kangge kyang te sangke tu tap chawa ngin yo mares.
Bodhicitta being the very heart and core of all dharma, then it's something indispensable for all practice, whether it be the practice of sutra or the practice of tantra.
Tindu kangla ta changshuk gisam te nyamso tene langwada chewa la tene zo tene maranso digo gares kansesana changshuk gisam seginti tene ta maranso kong kansa shirshingwon to yena wa songwa na shin je semgit pani shin dun jer yang zao zu bi chang chum de sen tene ya semjing ge ngaranso go surni gi go ne tene ningji ge semchen la me wa ta sherp gi zo chang la me pa sa na ba ni gi go ne ya tene changshuk ge sem de ke go gyujires.
In order to apply bodhicitta, to genuinely apply bodhicitta, then we need to have two factors. This is clearly explained in the treatise Ornament of Direct Realization, where it says that bodhicitta is the mindset that focuses. Bodhicitta is a mind that wishes to attain awakening for the sake of other beings. So, namely, bodhicitta is a mindset that involves two factors. First of all, compassion that focuses on sentient beings, and insight or wisdom that focuses on enlightenment.
Tindu kangla semki te condition ke goyena tene shendun ge semne zo tene ka tseme bi semjin thamje la se magic bi putra hitu ngor thongwi chambe tangwi goni tene semjin ta thamje khamsum khurbi dungale tharndu ge lo yang ta ba ji ke ba dela te changchu ge sem se ge yores.
So how do we define bodhicitta, the mind of awakening? It is a mindset that is the resolve, the heartfelt resolve to establish all sentient beings who are understood to have been one's mothers in the past, and are understood to be infinite, immeasurable in number. So the resolve to establish all of these immeasurable mothers, infinite number of mother sentient beings, at the level of in liberation and the level of omniscience, complete enlightenment, with love, out of love and affection and concern for them, just like the intense love that a mother would have for her only child.
Tindu kangla tene shindun de la na me be changchu tu begin do ba dang chung den ge sem kepra chen se de kangla simchen thamche khamsum khurbi gi dungal le tharne nya de la na me be sangi ko bon bo je to gi sabaji go wor changchu ge sem se gen te ngarang zo semchen thamche ge nekap ge dungal sam thalna nya ba ge te te we ge sem de gi changchu ge sem ngo mares changchu ge sem semchen da thamche khamsum khurbi gi dungal le thar de sanji ko bon to ge tin ri ji sam go wor ma to ge nekap ge che neta nasa la soba ta gunor longcho la sobi ge tene phunso la soba te da tene che demba sam da tene nekap ge tene tindre sam ji ge tene top gi chigal chanchu ge sem sam mare tengi dewa chim bosna sangi ko bala mi ne chanchu sem ti ke go yores.
That being the case, bodhicitta is the mind, a mindset that is focused solely on fulfilling the ultimate benefit of other sentient beings. This isn't then like the wish simply to free others from temporary suffering, like to free others from illness and to help them in terms of like material wealth and the like. It's the like the heartfelt resolve to establish all mother sentient beings at the level of omniscience, complete enlightenment, having freed them from all of the sufferings of the whole of samsara. So it's not just wishing other sentient beings to be free from suffering, from temporary sufferings like illness, poverty, and the like. That is not bodhicitta. That mindset is not bodhicitta. Rather, bodhicitta is the resolve to free every single sentient being from samsara and all of the suffering it involves, and having freed them from samsara to establish them in enlightenment, complete enlightenment.
Te indu kangla ta kunsup chanchu ge sen da tondam chanchu ge sem kang tar de shen na ya shindun do zokjang ge duba imbala khepar kha ge yo mare se rang ge tondo sangji ko bon do ma imba semjen tamji ge tondo sangji ko bon do bala tondam chanchu sem da kunsum chanchu sem khepar kha ge yo mare yin na ya yul mixul ge go ne tene kunsup ge tene chanchu ge sem ge go ne semjen tamje sangji ko bon bo chelam go ndo tene momba chanchu ge sem da jugba chanchu ge sem ni da dembi go ne semjen sangji ko bon bo chela ngo bra de ba de da tene kunsup ge sangji te da tondam chanchu ge sem se do che tamje mingme gyuma ta wo shebi go ne mikpa mebi ge tene ningji chenbo nga de go ne tene ngarang so ge tene semjen tamje sangji ge ko bon bo che ge gombala na me pa go je tela ten tondam chanchu ge sem se ge yores tin nikirti to na semjing sangji ge ko bon bo che ge ten semjen tamje sangji ge ko bon bo che la gobi ge tene lo yin ba dang o ya de vi ge tene ngarang so ge zochang tene dubra chi bi ge tap che par chen ba la tene nikir ge che par yo mare yina yang yul chu gi ing la mi bi ge chane tondam ge tene chanshu ge sem se tene yulchen tene kara para ya yulchen ge cha ya nang cha ne go ne me ne tene ngara kunzup chanchup ge sem sen tene ge khepar res kunzup chanchup ge sen da tondam chanchup ge sem se ge tene chini khepar do res.
In terms of bodhicitta, we can talk about relative bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta, right? Both relative and ultimate bodhicitta are equally states of mind that wish to establish, that are focused on attaining awakening for the sake of all sentient beings, not for one's own benefit, but for the benefit of all other sentient beings. So both of them are subsumed within that mindset, the wish to accomplish awakening for the benefit of all other beings. In terms of though their sort of reference points and focus, they are slightly different. Relative bodhicitta contains both aspiration bodhicitta and application bodhicitta. Aspiration bodhicitta being the resolve to establish all sentient beings at unsurpassable enlightenment, ultimate happiness, and application bodhicitta then being the application of that, putting that into action. Both of those are relative bodhicitta. Ultimate bodhicitta is the resolve to establish, is the application of bodhicitta, understanding that everything is illusory and dreamlike. Nothing truly exists, but rather is just like an illusion and a dream. And understanding that, then giving rise to what we call great compassion free of reference point, or great compassion free of concepts. And from within that understanding, then having the resolve to accomplish awakening for others. So we can see the difference then, the distinction between relative and ultimate bodhicitta lies in a sense between their focus. So bodhicitta described from the perspective of the subject, the subject that focuses on the appearing aspect of things, that's relative bodhicitta. The bodhicitta that focuses on the actual nature of phenomena themselves, the basic space of phenomena, that's ultimate bodhicitta. So there is that distinction, but nevertheless both are equal in that both are states of mind that wish to establish all sentient beings within enlightenment, and at the same time both are very special, extraordinary methods to accomplish awakening for the benefit of others. But there is this difference between relative bodhicitta being that which focuses on the appearing aspects of things, the subjective mind and the appearing aspects of things, and ultimate bodhicitta focusing on the object, meaning the natural state of things themselves, basic space of phenomena.
Yeah, that the indi kangla ta kunchup chanchu gisem ta tondam chanchu gisem ni she de kangla ta tangbo kunchup gi chanchu gisem de she go yore kunchup chanchu gisem de khandre resena ya dungal malwe date dole chun zog be chanchu chembin sem le tung techir da de shen gi dungal da yanda je ba de ne gyase lagle yin sa ta gyase lagle na la kunchup chanchu gisem de tinde chin tem bare ti indi kangla ta kunchup chanchu gisem de la dine tangbo dine dungal kesa gi ngarang so dungal segen de shedang ze khande she warsena khamsum korwa gi ne thamjine dungal gi rang ta ta re ti indi kangla ti indi ta ngarang so ge dine khamsum korbi gi ne thamje dungal gi rang shin ba kanshila dungal ti dine dungal ti le tharba che bala dine chanshub gesem tila matim bi sanji ko mo top top sawa ngin yo mare ngin tu rang ja chanshub gesem getting ma chanchu sem da tekba chembo dene sang duji tekbi gelam khang dar tena ya chanchu gesem da mandin bi goni sangi ko maram buje tab to soing na mar tin di ta chanchu gesem da dem bi goni sangi ko maram buje dub gu yona ten tangbo chanchu sem mirim buje kebi gi yuldi khaware sena o ya tene namkha dang ye besem jen thamje phama ma je wa chi yo maris phama je bi ne kap so tin che we kya wa sha da res tin zo thamje tene tin che we kya wa indu oya tindu thamche te dewa dugen diu yu karbo gewa chu dumi she patang dungal min dugen dungal gi gyumi gewa chu da semeng ba nga la so dubi semjin tra thamche ningje ya ta ngani mili rimbo che ya top sending ge lama che ya jal tambi chu ta ya the di ta u kawa sang bo chwe ne kapso uni ge tambi ge chu shama sena pe kyon dan tra wa yang da ba jiting ge chu ta manje bi go ne ne ngi chu chi dubgi nya bi ge kulong ti
So we have relative bodhicitta and ultimate bodhicitta, right? So first we should talk about relative bodhicitta.
Dungal malu date dolenjung zobe sangi shemin sem le tung techir date shengi dungal da yanda jeba gyase lagle.
So, relative bodhicitta is as described in the 37 practices of a bodhisattva, where it says, all suffering without exception arises from the desire for one's own happiness, seeking out one's own happiness, whereas perfect enlightenment is born from the wish to benefit others. That being the case, it is the practice of bodhisattvas to genuinely and completely exchange their own happiness for the suffering of others. So, this is relative bodhicitta. It is the wish to free all other sentient beings from all of the suffering in samsara and establish them at the state of ultimate happiness, complete enlightenment. It's a state of mind that understands that no matter where one is born in samsara throughout the three realms, there is only suffering to be found there, no true happiness. And seeing that, then wishing to free all sentient beings without exception from this endless suffering and establish them in ultimate happiness, the state of complete enlightenment. So this is bodhicitta, relative bodhicitta, and in terms of accomplishing enlightenment through the approaches of the great vehicle, the Mahayana, and from within the Mahayana, the tantric teachings of the Vajrayana, bodhicitta is absolutely indispensable. There is simply no way to reach complete enlightenment without the motivation of bodhicitta. So that being the case, then, when we talk about bodhicitta and arousing bodhicitta, what is the object of our bodhicitta? To whom are we arousing this bodhicitta? As it said, towards all sentient beings. This involves understanding that all sentient beings in our past lives have been our parents at some point or another. So acknowledging that all sentient beings are actually related to us as parents. And that when they were our parents in past lives, they showed us extraordinary kindness. They cared for us with such love and care. So acknowledging that, also seeing that all sentient beings are equal, all of these parent sentient beings are equal in wishing only for happiness and not wishing to suffer, but in spite of this fundamental wish, they actually bring about the very opposite. They don't know how to accomplish their own happiness and to avoid suffering, and end up doing the opposite. So seeing all of this, then one thinks, at this present lifetime, I've obtained a precious human rebirth endowed with her freedoms and riches. I've find myself in the most extraordinarily fortunate position with this precious human body and this precious human life in which I've encountered the sublime Dharma, Buddha's teachings, encountered genuine teachers, and have the opportunity to actually practice and make this life meaningful and significantly benefit others. So now I will put this opportunity that I have to the very best use to accomplish the benefit of others, to free them all from suffering and establish them in enlightenment. So this is the mindset of relative bodhicitta.
Tinda indu ta tangbu changchup ge sem bo che kebar chebala tene semjen tamje phama yimba she go ti kangchi bushira res tindu kangla ngaran choge kunsala me shalon ta chönju ta kana la yutu ge semjen tamje tangbu phama yimba sheba phama yimba sheba zamki ge michopa dinchimbo yimba sheba dinchimbo yimba sheba zamji ge michopa tene tela tene ngaran soina Tilen jalgu tene sambatan tilen jalgu ba tisum sung yores tisum de dena de chanchu gesemte tene ngaran so gyula getup gres.
In order to give rise to bodhicitta in the first place, it's taught that it's of utmost importance to understand that all sentient beings have been our parents in past lives. This is taught, explained in the treatises such as Words of My Perfect Teacher and The Way of a Bodhisattva. It says there that in order to arouse bodhicitta, first of all one needs to understand that all sentient beings have been one's parents in past lives. But just understanding that is not enough. In addition, one needs to understand that when sentient beings were one's parents in past lives, they showed one extraordinary kindness, care and love. So one also needs to acknowledge that. And that, again, just acknowledging that is not enough. In addition, one needs to, having acknowledged their great kindness, also give rise to the wish to repay that kindness, thinking that, it is of utmost importance that I do repay their kindness. I can't leave it unrepaid. So it's these in order to arouse bodhicitta, it's taught that we must acknowledge these three things: the fact that all sentient beings have been our parents in past lives, that they showed us great extraordinary kindness, and that we must repay that kindness. If we can really take these 3 points to heart, then it's taught that bodhicitta will dawn within us.
Ti indu kangla phama chewi nekap na ngaran so mi luten sam mayim bagi tunru ta cha dan chewu da thana yita ge kap so yang phama dika tin chimbo shiu yim ba sangi chomden de gen do da oya tinsun na ne tini mangbo ji song sha yores.
So when sentient beings were our parents in past lives, whether it be that they were our parents as a human being, so when we take rebirth as a human, or as an animal of some sort, or even as a hungry ghost or hell being, what have you. Sorry, not hell being, even as a hungry ghost. They all showed us great kindness as our parents, regardless of what class of being we were. And how this is so, the ways in which they showed us such kindness is taught extensively in Buddhist sutras.
ngaranzo mi ge sambotam na ta phutuk lang so khandi chen tala kyang gi yore tangwa ama ke we ne kapso kangal khase nya tene pugu chung chung ne peje lo chu chu ji par do le par do ngoni ge tene pugu la tene ngara do gi de gyap kya do gi de na do gi sa do ga semje khase ko nap na chapsang tham che ngaranzo ko phama ge la be ge chi o tinde chine mi ge kangal khandi kya wa ti ngaranzo thongwa thongshin ba tre ngaranzo thamji ge nyong shin ba re oya ti indu kana tire te dundu do je samlo tang ge ina ya dundu tene chachi ore ta so ge na rang ge phutu ta khantri chi ge kali ge amne khaso gi to da kali khantri ge go to tin na shin chi ge shenda ge mbuda tene semjen shenda ge tene no pa song che bi che du ya khantri jin dungu yore tene ngarang so ina semjen tire da ngi kerang so do ina la chachi ge lor ju ji shen de trosons.
In terms of how human parents look after their children, this is, we know firsthand ourselves, right? We've all experienced this and observe this firsthand. Think of how mothers, everything that mothers go through in the course of raising their children. First of all, the pregnancy, giving birth, all the hardship that involves, and then raising the child from being a newborn all through childhood, and all of the everything that the mother, all the worry the mother goes through, all the concern and care that they give their child to protect it and nurture it so that it can grow up, making sure that it's always fed, that it's warm, clothed. When it's a young baby, then looking after its toilet, and all of that, everything, sort of from beginning to end, in all areas, the mother takes such intense care and love of their child. So this we can see and we know for ourselves firsthand, right? The kind of love and care that a mother shows her child, her children. We can observe the same things with animals, whether it be like large animals, livestock, wild animals, birds, insects, what have you. We can observe actually that similarly the intense love and care they show for their children, to protect them from harm and nurture them, feed them, nourish them. In this vein, there's a story from the sutras about a bird that I want to tell you.
Indu chomden degi tanangaran sundo nangla ma degi putugu tondala kage kandri gyago me putuk sogyang lo chingel kangal kandri gyago me demi sewe jige putugu tondala ama ge tok kandri tango me tini ndoi nangla lurgyu pe nyebu jidus tini shingdong jigi zela tar naksang jigi na shingdong jigi tuyatela tini cha jigi jisang ji shashazar jibchuk sang teni chepchuk tela chepchuk chungchung sum teni chepchuk zato kanga teni di chepchuk sangla eyon teni member one tani ya ri member ta ama tegi di pugu de kurni mi tu pugu zo chimbo cha kurtu gyuni me sha janani teni digi de megi tsikto sarsan te semdegi te magu on chuji yore sa chuo sala shokwa de chulo on yara on yang pugu zo gol chutor yang da jen ndi jini chuji de tindi torgi teni te ripura member san te pargap jini teni chibduk soda shida te amatiya ti puusala chutorgi shisores teni diregi teni donang teni songshados te jaji ina yang rangi putugi teni sokyabur chujala kali khaji kyabdos tarjuk teni kata ri mesigi ore chujigi de shokbagi chujigi torna meza setubu mares ina yang amagi tsewa te ta tab kanti china gagido chinte china gagido samshamni te mago chu nangso shokbagi chulbang yang yong ti pugu damtuzo chusol tor tinte chini chutor torne tene ridi mekale pana tene jibchuk tiya tsik songres ama te ti nyam shi songres ndona tende songs masagin de jiugi ne kapsu ya tindigi katin chambo res ti ngaransu mi mare ngaransu mi ina da shewa chambo de dundu gi ya tene potu tende chigi yores mag katin chambo shewe ne kapna.
So this is a story that just illustrates the extraordinary kindness that mothers show their children, the hardships they go through, the sacrifices they make, even often sacrificing their own lives for the sake of their children. So during Buddha's time, there was a bird living in a forest. So a mother bird who'd built her nest in the middle of a forest, and she had three little chicks in the nest. One day the forest caught fire, and fire was actually the whole area around the forest caught fire. And the fire was approaching their nest. The mother was distraught and trying to save her chicks, but she wasn't strong enough to actually take them out, to fly each of them out of the forest and away from the fire. So with her three chicks in the nest, then she flew down to a river nearby the forest, doused herself in water, flew back, and then soaked her chicks in the water that she'd, got on her feathers, and trying to keep them wet and so safe from the fire. So she kept on doing this, flying down to the river, soaking herself, flying back, soaking her chicks, and so on, in the desperate attempt to save their lives. Of course, she couldn't actually succeed. That a few drops of water from a bird's feathers is not enough to put a whole fire out and protect them. So in the end, the three chicks died, and so did the mother bird. But this just shows the extraordinary kindness that mothers show their children. even as an animal, right? We're not talking about a human mother here, right? We're talking about a mother bird. But even a mother bird, an animal, has such intense love and concern for their children that they're willing to sacrifice their own lives, to do whatever they can, whatever is within their ability, to protect their young, and to the point of sacrificing their own life, which is what happened to this mother bird. So no need to then even mention the kindness and sacrifices that are made by human mothers, right? We can see just in the case of this mother bird the extraordinary kindness that mothers show their children in nourishing them and protecting them.
Tene tishendo tatidat ngaranso 1985-6 korche chile insares. Tene nakshu khasa ngara hasa go also nakshu khasa sacha chiveres. Tene nakshu khasa sacha tela tene nakshu khala sacha tela tene ngaranso changu looks dropare tene ko look mangbu yodu ka tene look tene so te changu look mangbu sa sone ta tering look chi changu chi tongpa chi look sa ngata sangi sa tete look mangbu sa ko pekka leken ta khonso ge ta changu ge te look mangbu sa do res te ngima chi changsang tor ko ta changsang changu de ne se ne changu de tene meba so do sa ne tene khonso minda shipju ngab ji do ne rila te changu sa ga do res te changu ge sang kawa to ji ta on de ka te ya tra bu ji la tene 장구 찍게 되네 그런 정죽된다 숨도세 장주 숨 대 장주 숨 되네 되네 고저거 태브레스 장구 중중 대 장구 보고 중중 숨 태브디가 딱 가시에선 대도 접세 샤거래 되네 아마도 저도 그랬으네 딘데글라도 가시에서는 다 디칸세스나 딘데세교 말에 되네 장주도 막 얼케는 가서 막 오네 세당 캔사오지 제게나 tene amatian setu gres changtu de sedang ke barjine jangwa set tene tene ke zlamne te misiti changtu de ma koranso ta ridira bubrio sara de ridira chaksang de te o de thanga ta thanga de te o de changtu ke ta khonso wal thongba de de ro lu yora te changtu de ma ge khe tene miji ki ta tene chi gor changtu amat ne changtu de sena amat le ong gres te amat ye se chog gres ten lam te changtu de ma won phurba dog phurwa gyapne te phurwa de changtu sum de thapa ke ta te changtu sum de trisha tene degi thala te metang chowa dang sing dang drama de ma ko korne te tel tine kora ngarang so sanum thelu te chen no su ru ta no su garo lo te kama ta no su ru cha te de metang shares te thala kono so mi khashi goni tene menda it ke do ju pa do kun ku te konso de ka te metang tre jen de te ni changu bu ke jam ka kaung ja de ka te ya gi rin na te ama de ma thong des ko te su me ma gyung te de changu zu ke jam jo te ti menang chong ne bu so jam te khir ge bu ta sha ro te ni mi tham je u da ma da do jam te yang shen na je yang sur ta yang ya za ta te ni ti changu ke de ka te ni ko mi la ya so ja gyu tam ma to pe ko chi sa ta te sum cha me ba 밀라야 샤나미 제바 테니 마치 양 tur 양 정주로 소겸 결게 정주 소 다셔로 테니 양 미기 샤나제 아트 딘드 진 테마니 숨질 때 미게 탐제게레 멘다 파워레 도야 테 아마디 세바레스 테 딘디 정주 숨디 딘디 세바레스 다 사무르 탄스 정구스기 미 마레 코셈체지레 데 랑기 부죽 던달라 딘디기 미기 셴 정구스기 미요 통나다 양릉분이 저러로서 딘데 미 디게즈네 샤나마 저 딘나마 장상의 컨셉에 정부 부고 사용 부고 소격 던달라 모랑야 시 딘데 제베레스 딘데 tinso lurgi ngoni res te pe tunju do ji na yang na jangu do ji na yang ngoni ga rang ge so le kyang bu de za che zi ge yo ste ngarang sa mi da women la te te ve ge she go ji ho ma re ta dan da ngarang sa ma re ta dan da ngarang so la chin chang ge de ne sur kyo che yo se pa ja tham je six se ngarang so ro mi to da women right ne ji lam ni ji ge bu gu so ge pha ma ge ya bu ji yo la ji shi wu ji ding de sha ge me re te pe mi ge no lu che ho res ting around so tandan del phamal yakboche tindegi tine ro mi thoptang second women right second so juni te lo jadang ab jus jazman ro yo maris tin du ngarang so ge mi gi live de gi ji ta na lo gyapcha tong chang mangbuji chitang mangbuji ro yo res te tandan ngarang so ke de yakshe mi ji kon la yang ngarang so mi gi mi ge second de jel develop chung jong res mi ke yakshe gi me kap so yang phama ge ama ge pugulo ma tin so jong che 파마게 부르고 자와친 지교티 나랑 속에 미 깨자 미시비 공라양 tene ngaran so ta ne ji doi du da ji mo do cha ge du da mo tin de ge du so ya mi ge je do lo ko mi she khala sa mi she ke ja she mi she ge du so ya pu gu yore di tu ka la ya ama ge pu gu ze zo ama tin apa ta ama ni de ge pu tu lo ze wa che sha ge de ngaran so mi ge history lo ti lo ta ne tin de yore tin du ka la 파마승 빼미 같은 첨벌에서 좀된 되게 장추 셈 세긴데 짜치쇼 장추 셈때야 저 파마를 때는 깨고래서 좀된 되게 딘디진 숨어 요아레스
There's another story to tell. This is something that happened in around, I think, 1985 or 1986 in an area in Tibet, a place called Nakchuka, below Lhasa in Tibet. So in this area there were people, nomadic people, who were shepherds who kept sheep, and there was a wolf, a wild wolf in the area who kept coming down and attacking their herds of sheep, and they'd lost quite a lot of sheep in this way to this wolf. It was really creating a lot of havoc. So they all the sort of local shepherds convened one day and they said, we really have to deal with this wolf. We need to go out and actually find where this wolf's nest is and just destroy the wolf once and for all. So the village people gathered together and they set off as a group heading up into the mountains with about 30 or 40 people, all carrying guns and weapons, determined to kill this wolf. And searching in the mountain, they eventually found the wolf's nest, kind of at the base of the cliff face. And they found actually that it was a mother wolf who had 3 wolf cubs. So when they discovered the nest, the mother wolf was not there, but the 3 wolf cubs were there. And some of the villagers then said, well, best that we just stone the wolf cubs to death right here and now, and then deal with the mother wolf later. But then others said, no, if we do that, we won't be able to find the mother wolf. Let's take these cubs, capture them, take them further down into the valley, and tie them up there. And then for sure the mother will come down and then we can kill them all. So that's what they decided to do. They took the wolf cubs with them further down into the valley, and they tied them all. They tied them up sort of by the neck, and then tied them to a stake so that they couldn't move. And then they surrounded the wolf cubs with a ring of firewood and the like, and set it alight so that these wolf cubs were tied to the ground, surrounded by a ring of fire. So they set this up, and then the night approached, and they all waited near this ring of fire, watching for the mother wolf to arrive. When they first set light to the fire, then the wolf cubs, so distressed and scared, started to howl. And then soon after they started howling, the mother wolf did appear. She came running down from the mountain at the call of her young, and running down from the mountain, actually beyond her nest, down into the valley nearby the village. She came, running quickly down without any hesitation. And then seeing her wolf cubs trapped in the middle of this fire, she leapt straight through the fire and ran over to them. The first thing she tried to do was to pick each of them up by the scruff of their neck and carry them away, but she couldn't because they were tied down, So, but she was desperately trying to release them. And then, of course, the villagers were all nearby, so the villagers started to attack her, to throw stones and what have you. And then she ran away. She ran out of the circle of fire, trying to get away from them. And then she soon reappeared again, diving through the fire, desperately trying to pull her wolf cubs away, to get them away. But it just wasn't possible because they were tied down. So the villagers approached with throwing stones at her and trying to attack her. And she, because she was so desperate to protect her young, to save her young, she started she just completely disregarded her fear. The second or third time, she just completely disregarded her fear of these humans. Usually a wild wolf, when approached by a human, will immediately run away, right? So, but like this second or third time when she still wasn't able to pull her cubs away and escape with them, she just turned to the humans who were throwing stones at her and just lunged out at them, trying to bite them and attack them, defend them off from her wolf cub, from her offspring, and just with none of the natural fear and hesitation that wild animals usually show humans. And in the end, then the villagers did kill her, the mother wolf, and also the cubs. But before they were able to do that, this mother showed extraordinary courage in the desperate attempt to save her cubs. First of all, jumping through the fire, and then actually turning herself on the humans, on the villagers, which is kind of completely abnormal behavior, right? Usually a wild wolf would never dare get that close to a human, right? But she actually just was like throwing herself at them, biting them and attacking them. So this again just shows the extraordinary love, like the overwhelming love that parents, especially mothers, have for their own children. The intense care that they show them, the sacrifices they make for them. In this case, the wolf disregarding all of her sort of natural fear and hesitation for humans, and then in the end giving up her own life, trying to save her own cubs. So, yeah, this is, and here we're not talking about a human, right? We're talking about a wild animal. But still, as a wild animal, this mother showed that kind of intense love for her children, valuing their lives over her own. This is just another plain illustration of the extraordinary kindness that parents show us. That parents show their children. And this is something, of course it's the case with animals, and no need to mention that it be the case with human parents and their children. These days, one very sad, regrettable thing is that it seems all over the world, the children don't really acknowledge their parents' kindness much these days. There's this notion of human rights, and sort of from that perspective, then a lot of children think, well, it's just my right to be looked after, right? So there's no real value given to the kindness that parents shower on their children, there's very little acknowledgement made these days, which is something really very sad and regrettable. But some people might have this attitude, thinking, well, it's just my human rights, or like an obligation for you to look after me, so what's the big deal, right? But if you think about it, actually, this notion of human rights and the like is a very new notion, right? It's something that has only been sort of articulated and talked about for maybe 100 years, right? So a century or two ago, there was no such notion. But nevertheless, for centuries have passed up until now, parents have continued to look after their children with the most extraordinary love and care, right? You can think all the way back to the Stone Age, or even before then, before humans could even communicate, before there was even human language. Still, people managed to survive because of the kindness that their parents showed them, right? Even during those prehistoric eras, people didn't know how to wear clothes, they didn't know how to eat as we do, but still they had showed this. Parents still showed extraordinary kindness and care to their children. So this is not something to do just with human rights, right? It's just the natural natural kindness, extraordinary kindness that parents show their children, and from especially the mother, but not just the mother, of course, the father as well. So this is a sort of undeniable quality of parents, their extraordinary care and love that they show their children. And within Buddha's teachings, we talk about bodhicitta being so extremely precious, so extremely valuable. But Buddha taught emphatically that when it comes to arousing bodhicitta, we need to arouse bodhicitta towards our parents. So towards our parents, which involves acknowledging the extraordinary kindness they've shown us.
다 딘데기 로르기 몽고 시기 로르기 몽고 요레스다 파마게 부족라 잠보 지당다 자와 지당다 디 돈달라 랑게 강알 갸당다 딘데기 로르기 디 디닝아랑 조다 라미게 남터던데는 나타기나 페미게 몽고 요레스 아드니 미 마세제 둔주 마세웨 지게 이닥게 뒤서야 되네 간세스나 셈징게 당가랑게 부족고 동달까 몽고 제바드니 다즘바 나와제바스긴 지게 되네 이다게 정도 패네. 때 이다게 분매지게 된 랑게 부고 카소 막도는 빼 기도 망보냐 요로르규 걔랑 군상라 미샬론나 란자나 요레스 어디 나진지게 되네 로르균 된데도 나왔더니 빼미게 나라서 건줄서 나왔던 되게 로르규 좀 요레스 티인도 강타티 마이 카틴 땡큐레스 당보를 두게 심진 담자 파마인 버셰바 니바 파마데 카틴 좀 보임 하고 katin chenpo yinba kawa tsamiki pime tawa tila tini katin tenpo yikilne tilen sogo yores, tin sogo yores tin so sana tilen jangware di chi chigo yores te pena ta ngaran so ta pa shao shote tini kar ngaran so sangi chomden de yina ya tini yum tini kar para shing shane layu la pep du kala tini kong layu la pep ne dawa chikda nima chunga ga ringla tini mala tini sobi chedu sangi ki tini son do tinda sonne tine semjala tindegi tine rang ma gyuma samsela telenje lorgi yores ting arang zung gurun buchige namro lingji kesar gelwasata ling kesar gelwas ngalang pe mege da ngone station shochire pe mege da ling kesar gelwo ya mago mo nyalwa ndone tene nyalwa la songdu de ngala tene ling kesar gelwo tene junjul ge tobge turu kyangjung ra wal tene korang ge tala chipne nyalwa pe nyalwi gi shinjin lega tamje kong nyalwa na madang kong nyalwa madang kong mara tene karo nyalwi ki lengen sola tene kangaran zane ta nzing tene mara son tene nyalkama son ma gomo ya tabi shingam lan tene bilorgyu tene nyaling soba shimbolo ta tang pe michu mongo shor yores ti semba kyo pe yores o tene so tamji ya lorgyu tene za san guru buchige namdru soge ya tene tiki tene kansasana mai tene jalrab tang o ya ta tene tiki lorgyu tagi pe ngaran so halewa yor te shabgar cholu rangdol ge tene ta konge tene ama tene apa me ama te kale chi wikya konge ya sogyong che hirab tang tene tajuk chue chi de kana ama tang khatal tang tene ge lor gyuzor tana ngone ke kechen tang ba tenzu ge tene mala tene tilen tene jaldo mage ton dol tene che du sam juge tenga ran so pe semla sorba shuk chang tene ge gyut na yong dus.
There's so many stories that can be told to about the kindness of parents, the kindness shown by mothers to their children, and the sacrifices they make for their children. You can find a lot of these stories in the life stories of great masters and so on. So you can read more of these touching stories there. There are even stories of the kindness of mothers who are hungry ghosts, who are pretas. For instance, there's a story of the Arhat called Nawachepa, who traveled to who encountered a preta, a hungry ghost who had offspring, and went to extraordinary lengths, really underwent great hardships for the sake of her, out of concern for her offspring who was suffering. And this story you can read in Words of My Perfect Teacher. And there are also so many other stories, similar stories, to be found in the sutras, the words of Buddha's own words. All of these stories are told, retold, in order for us to remember, to help us remember the kindness of our mothers, of all of our mothers. So, as it said, first of all, we need to acknowledge that all sentient beings have been our parents, our mothers and fathers in past lives. Secondly, we need to acknowledge that when they were our parents, they showed us these kinds of extraordinary kindness and love. But just acknowledging their love and kindness is not enough. Having acknowledged that, we need then to acknowledge the need to repay that kindness, right? Repay the extraordinary kindness they've shown us. This is something that even Buddha Shakyamuni, even our teacher Buddha Shakyamuni did, acknowledged and actually followed through on. Buddha's mother had passed away and been reborn in a god realm, Tushita god realm. after Buddha had attained awakening, he actually left the human realm and went up to Tushita God realm, where his mother was, to meet her and to teach her. And he stayed there in this God realm for 1 month and 15 days in order to teach her and thereby repay her kindness. So even Buddha Shakyamuni acknowledged his mother's kindness and the need to repay it, as we can see in his life story. There's also, for instance, we can see the same thing done by one of Guru Rinpoche's emanations, King Gesar Ling. The story of Gesar Ling is one of the longest, most detailed histories in the tradition. It's a very well documented history and story, and there it tells how Gesar Ling, his mother, after she passed away, she was on her way to she was going to be reborn in the hell realms. And when Gesar Ling saw this, he actually, through his miraculous powers, he traveled down to sort of the gateways to hell on his miraculous horse. And there he found his mother, who was being held captive by the henchmen of the hell realms. And he fought with the henchmen of the hell realms, to wage war on them in order to release his mother, and then rescued her from there and took her out of the hells and took her up into a pure realm. So this is a very amazing story. It brings tears to your eyes actually when you read it. So this is again a case of Guru Rinpoche's emanations also doing things to repay their mother's kindness. And then, for instance, we have the example of the great master Shabka Tsogdru Rangdro, who, in his life story, you can read about how he tells of the great hardships his mother went in order to look after him, and the sacrifices she made, and then how he worked to care for her and how to look after her, and then when she passed away and so on, and the heartbreak he went through when parting from her and when she passed away, and all of this is told in his autobiography. So when we read these stories and accounts, and we see that even great beings like this, Buddha, Guru Rinpoche's emanations, sublime beings like this great yogi Shabkar Tsogdru Rangdro, if even they pay such fine attention to the need to acknowledge their parents' kindness and repay it, then of course no need to mention the need for us to do that, right? So these are all stories about the need to acknowledge mother's kindness and acknowledging that and repaying that. These are very, very touching stories. Like I said, they really do bring tears to one's eyes when you read them.
Ta tinde lorgyu she de na ta ya pe lorgyu mangu ta nga lorgyu mangu sting do ta te she na da chu sa chu ji na nga zo sar go do tine ta lorgyu ge sar sa mare pe de lorgyu mangu yo ta to na ngaran cho ge patrum bu je khare song do sana phama se gen de katin chim bo imba ta phama la ya bu che wa de tine shen la phemba che wa dang zawan yin min ja wa pe mi ge tine ka se sana ge wa chi ba tra song do ngaran cho ge tine konsan la mi shalon na la kan song sana apa amanye de apa de chapa yela ama de chapa yela shane tongsum ge tongchu mun jigding ge kam de kora jam le mas ke sa na ya phama ge telen de shukurgyu yo mares de ne de indi ka phama sagen tindig sa ja de na ya phama chela chu phama ge to de gewa dubna de ne telen jar gyu thabar ma to ge ti ma to phama ge telen jar dang sang aran chu ge di modern ki tuzu tila kandre se mitham je de special gau tham je chechung trakshen tham je pesha mani ga lab de kala tham je pesha la je utane ye chi khari na ya chewa ya pesha la karne pesha ga zare ni ama ga ngala khazu lo khazu sere ya lo ge gu chu changa la ni oma tiga se tere tulo tiga se khala tiga se ti tham je ke gol re jera dollar khazu ji ba tindig sam tinde pe mi stupid dusa shiure stati ngarang so mi gi chewa se indal rindang chan yo mares tsewa sagingi midi rangi choka ilwe dang tupgares. Dini tsewa sagingi tsaanira ngaranzo subudi rindang me bachire sagi wares. Ngaranzo tada rikbudi subudi rindang me haku uwa maras. Nga subudi nao do jikibudu dikdu samgite. Yina ya subudi pena mikda natna lakba kangbata na ngazo tangtang sisiri yore. Yina ya ta tanda ngaranzo subudi tsaa chimbo yin sujik samgi mere. Nga samgi mere keranzo samgi yo mare. Ya nimachi ngaranzo mik chola shor duk labda te migla dollar tontra Bodhicitta wa te chimba thola shor dos labda teya dollar tontra Bodhicitta wa kalma thola shor dos labda tinna shinge tene tanda ngaran soge migda kangba thamjil ngoni ge dan sang value si ya ge na gormu buntra Bodhicitta halam ngi chi kan article chi thongso nga za subu diladina halam dollar million Bodhicitta tene rinta yorese ngaran soge migda na dan kalma dan loa dan chimba dan 어딘서 탐질 레레니 서티니 책이 딘디죠 티 간에 좋아래 티 중사대 가라서 토사대 파말 더 라버도 마마 아만 좋아래 티 단단 가라서 삼제 배상마요 수구 탐제 탕당 리리체 되어레스 아마기 다고 야보지 마야비나 페나 pugulo 니스미 알가블라 추츠직 마르다 추츠 차가지 가스 케어레스 지고이나 때 가시게 강바차 되게레스 가지게 미여 되게 가지게 카쇼 되게레스 때 가시게 가리 젠트리 차 되게레스 딘두가라 가시게 라바식 되게레스 어다 들으기다 메데 응규디 다 단단 가라서 상상이 응규디 가라서 파마가 같은 레스 딘나니아 아마가 같은 레스 딘두가 딘두가 가서 딩자는 여기요 말레스 땅 가랑 누구지 장소에서 땅 할배강을 자서 다 결 dollar billion 넘버지요나 야상이 켜고 쪽 단다 지기 딩 지기 민도 로아 제고도 닝제 칼마 제고도 치마 제고도 켜 dollar billion 넘버 땅 거래서 티티케 디들 티당 지기 말레스 당부 디셉지겐 수레 티 톱사데 간에 토버 띵아서 삼물 땅거 티 소스 삼물 땅거 말 틴디카나 나랑서 수구디 강 만저레 세디를 추야 보지 듭나야 나랑서 류디 때라 두고레 첸디라 지기부 빼야 보지 나랑서 대우 예부 깨라 쳐고잖아 류디 두고레 좀 된디게 강소랬으나 렉나 렉나 타르비 때야 류디 예나 커르비 띵도야 류디 인세 야 상기 고방 로규티야 류딘 딜텐 로고요레 마르녜송 로겐테 류딘 딜텐 류딘 디페미 게셔레 류딘 디 게셔오티 가네 중어서 다고 파만 중어레 아만 중어레 디네 아마게 토네 페마르 가란 수중두야 로 단다 버도 카미 공부 탐제 카미 공부 삼부 야고 하게 누가 가란 탐제 단다 디 가네 중어레 세판제 페나 로게부도 로 두주시게 여게 둔주신 거라 아바 아마 미긴 수요레 탐진 아바면 로무로 야치게 미지 드링들 여기지 이네야 고 아바 미긴지가 라랑 소소가 아바다 아마게 세와라 때니 나랑소데 미세데 차들 술레이나 수수나 수이나다 잠불링 밀로 야당 없지게 페제어서 바르데 칼리 로다 야당 없지게 미지게 와이나 띠야 아마다 아바게 세와라 때니 세와이 바디 데 캬와 캬브그레스 어티 균센 때라 때디 칸라 파마스게 가딘 쳔버레스 이좀 된데게 때 칸세스나 가랑 송하나 신제게 고살라미샤노 송하나 제 파마들라 때니 도슈나 개와 체쇼 동숨교 동숨 직등기 꼬라 개발에 파마니 되네 거라 추를 주고다 파마라 되네 긴 기위기 제와데 파연체와 인세 파마랑을 위해 반지 내고를 놓고 말아 랑게 파마라 야보제나 니당 꼬라다 라만 잘교대야 파만 잘교대 라테네 파마라 샤도슈기 티네고를 하가 인세 나랑도 니랍교 말아 걔랑서 공상내 미샬론 데데 인지 돌규게 걔랑 따쳐서 요래 오야 tinza 트레송샤 틴두칼라 나랑초 담지 담보 남바상기 양답과 제와라 파마디까지 약고 하고 그래서 파마까지 약고 하고 토라 데 장축이 셈디 끼어거마도 담보 장축이 셈 끼어거래서 부다 나랑초 부디시다서 장축이 셈데 나랑 최탐지기 싸와라서 라고 그랬대 싸와 중사데 하마고나 장축 셈 끼두고 말해 틴두 장축 셈 끼버려 제발 담보 파마까지 하고 그래 파마디야 첸디게 파마 담보까지 제와고 딜레 티니텐 로어 트룩셈제 탐제 다티 파마 나싱게 된 리트룩셈제 탐제 까딘 제모기 디리스바 도거마도게 다데 파마 까딘지가 하마고 로어 트룩셈제 탐제 디 가로게 제모 욕셔게 되고 차도레스 틴두 담보트니 나랑서 탐제 파마 까딘 쳔보인 바셰데 게초레 틴 파마 대신도 틴 로어 트룩셈제 탐제 게와 디 파마 마이나 게와니 게와 서럽스라나 파마리 되어 틴수 까딘 쳔보인 틴 나랑서 하고 그레스 티 하고 있던 때 장주쌤 끼어버렸어 장주쌤 끼어오면 끼어온 그랬어
So there's so many other stories to tell, but yeah, so many other stories that I could tell to illustrate this, but we don't have much time, and so I won't tell more stories, but nevertheless there are so many more to tell. In short though, the point is that, as Padre Rinpoche said, as it's taught in Buddha's teachings, it is indispensable, we must acknowledge our parents' kindness, our parents' great kindness, and the need to repay that extraordinary kindness. And as Padre Rinpoche says, as he says in, for instance, his text, words of my perfect teacher, there is really no greater virtue actually than working to repay one's parents' kindness. So he says, Patarumshi says, even if you were to place your mother on your right shoulder and your father on your left, and circumambulate, do like a tour of the entire 3,000-fold world, or universe, that still would not be enough to come close to repaying one's parents' kindness. He says that the kindness of one's parents is just so great that the only way you can hope to repay it is by means of the sublime Dharma. So caring for one's parents, and then ideally practicing for their benefit, and ideally establishing them themselves in the practice of the sublime Dharma. That is really the way to genuinely repay one's parents' kindness. These days, one very tragic thing is that everyone in the world, whether they be rich or poor, high or low, seems to measure everything in terms of money. Everything is measured in terms of material value. Which is actually, and that being the case, because this kind of attitude is so prevalent, often then people will even try to measure their parents' kindness in terms of money. Like, my parents were really kind to me because, okay, they spent like this much on food for me, this much on clothes, so this much on milk, and you add it all up like a bill, and to get some kind of figure, like a numerical figure. Oh, my parents spent this many dollars on me, and that's sort of the measurement of their kindness. This is such a stupid and terrible way to look at things, because when we talk about our parents' kindness, we're talking about love, and love is something that is completely beyond measure and material value. Love is something so powerful that people are even willing to give up their own life and body for the sake of love. And if you think about it, there's actually nothing that we value more, nothing more valuable than one's physical body. We might not be kind of able to see that clearly. We might not really think that, but actually, if we think about it, we can see that it really is the case. Everything that we do, whether it be like mundane pursuits or the Dharma, our entire life actually is based on the existence and good health of our physical body. And for sure, actually, if we think about it, there's nothing that we cherish more than our physical body. More than any material good, no matter how valuable it might be. More than that, we will always give more importance to our physical body. Also, if you think even in terms of like material value, like the material cost and potential value of our body, it really is probably one of the most valuable possessions you can have. I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard some figure that someone say that in the papers somewhere, that if you actually to kind of total up the potential value of your physical body, it numbers in like the millions. Because if you think about, for instance, if something goes wrong with your eye, right? And you need to fix your eye, that's potentially like X number of thousands. If something goes wrong with one of your organs, that's again potentially like, many tens of thousands of dollars to have that fixed. And likewise, if you kind of total up the value in this way of all the different parts of your body, the number you get is like in the millions, right? So even in the material sense, the body is the most valuable thing. And where does this body, the body that is our most precious possession, come from? It comes from our parents, right? We got our body from our parents, from both our mother and father, especially from our mother. And now all of us seated here, we are here because we have a physical body that's in good enough health, right? We take this for granted, completely for granted. But actually, if you think about it, the reason that we can be here and do all the things we do is because we have our body and our health. And who did we get this body and health from? From our parents, right? Especially from our mother. Especially if you think to when we were young. When we were young, we were sort of nurtured and protected every moment of the day by our parents. If our mother had neglected us just for the course of a few hours, actually, that could have resulted in an accident or of some sort that would mean we couldn't actually be sitting here with the good health we have today. If you leave a child unattended for a few hours, it's very possible that they can fall over, break their leg. Maybe they'll fall over and hurt their eyes to the extent that their sight is lost. Terrible things terrible, irreparable things happen to children if you leave them alone just for a few hours, right? But our parents nurtured and cared for us so attentively with such constant concern that nothing like that ever happened to us, right? So as a result, we have this good health that makes our whole life possible, but nevertheless, which we take quite for granted. But if you think about it, this most kind of fundamental possession, our physical body, we have it all because of the kindness of our parents. And like I said, whether it be pursuing the Dharma, or whether it be pursuing mundane pursuits, both of these are made possible simply because, or mainly because of having a healthy physical body, right? And again, that comes from where? From our parents, and especially our mother. And this kindness remains also throughout our life, no matter how old we are. It's not the case that, when you reach 60 or 70, you're no longer someone who had parents, right? Even someone who is 100 years old or 120, if there is even anyone who's lived that long, they are someone who came from parents. Their body, their life was given to them by their parents, right? That's still the case even at the grand age of 100 or what have you. So this kindness is really, the kindness that our parents show us, our mother shows us, is an extraordinary, great kindness. This being so, then, as Buddha taught, the importance and value of acknowledging our parents' kindness, and like I said, not just acknowledging, but acknowledging the need to repay this kindness. Buddha said in the sutras, and likewise Pacharumashi said in the words of my perfect teacher, that actually the very best way to repay one's parents' kindness is through the sublime Dharma. Best is to practice on their behalf, and also to establish them in virtue on the path of Dharma. He says there in the words of my perfect teacher, better than going on pilgrimage, for instance, actually, it's better than going on pilgrimage, more virtuous than going on pilgrimage is simply to repay the kindness of your parents, to look after your parents, actually. So this being the case, if we want to be like genuine, sincere followers of Buddha, then we need first of all to acknowledge our parents' kindness and the need to repay that. And then, only then, will bodhicitta be able to dawn within us. In order for bodhicitta to arise, we need the root of bodhicitta. The root, namely, is acknowledging that sentient beings have been our parents, their kindness, and the need to repay that kindness. And regarding this, first of all, when we talk about all sentient beings having been our parents, we need to primarily acknowledge the kindness of our parents of this life, right? And then sort of based on that, the kindness of all other parent sentient beings. If though we talk about, acknowledging the kindness of all parent sentient beings and wishing to benefit all parent sentient beings, but we don't pay any attention and care to our parents of this life, that's just a complete contradiction. It's a joke, actually. It makes all of our talk a complete joke. So first of all, we need to acknowledge the kindness of our parents of this life, and then sort of in addition to that, secondly, the kindness of all other parents. This is really the root of bodhicitta, what we need to first pay attention to in order for bodhicitta to arise. If we do really take these points to heart, the kindness of all parent sentient beings and the need to repay that kindness, then actually, as a result of that, bodhicitta will naturally arise in us. It will just naturally dawn.
Tindu ta pamasagen de pekatin chobare ti ha ko gyuti tine nenga chimbo chadores tindu kala dangsangi tagi lawa na shin chege chege chawa sagen de pamage chawa sagen de pesha do je tindu gi ti de gam do gyuti pemi gi nunru chimbo ti ngara zo pemi ya ko ha ko wores oma ngage ngara tine ngoshi bachu te ko chi ngara paljur kyo do jire tin nima ji pu di boarding la tang ma tumne boarding loktal tang ma tumne tene pesha masane te pugu di boarding ma surten go tenda chade dus tene nga sa lepson te pugu di dire cheson ta pugu di lopson lap thusa mare boarding ki fees be gong chamba do ten ta lap thusa mare sna ko tene lau dus bestem ba kyo jing altena kel shesons 땡이 되게 가서 도도 슬라우 되게 똥다 숨주 소주 도도 세도 똥다 숨주 소주 알로 망고를 로 할로 또 게고 자 주주징인도 때들에 도도 세텐 되게 된 로티기 된 똥다 숨주 땡이 숨주 소주 등이 째고 대 상부 찍지나 결혼 지금 진다도 더 지그레도 결혼 때 마디나 때 로직이 증이라고 하잖아 페지디도 기레스네 땡이 똥다 숨주 소주 증이 거때 유케네스 되네 디게 드람들 나기 분자죠스 니 분자죠 티 분자 다른 뭐지 겨 같은 좀 가만 그런 아바담 보고대 담도 되게 빼면 그 아발이 같은 제 뭐지 그 페샤된데 그 아발이 결합을 땅 두고 민도와 그다 아발이 같은 제에서 그때 보고 담된 랍송스 나 오니게 셈바 미스톤데 제스 딩이 준자면 니 땅도 숨주 수르지 때는 그 아발 같은 제가 간데 자거든 니 콜까기다 그 빼게제 세단데 이스트비트 게제레스니 그 딘데 게제 디고 그 아바담 그 디부고 두 아바담 그 게제니 보고 충충으로 받으니 공원이 되는 거든 지 보인다 삼그려 디 가와 흥스거 아니 그 보고 돈달 거뭐 돈다 숨주 수룩 때 두거를 마도게 착 딘데 나라서 밀레미르 납게지 때니 교때 납 탁되는 가시기 말아 마 티에테 두고 말해 로아 심바지 되는 가와테 두거래 그게 아바게 코 돈달 쏘단 두거래 디린 칼마지 때서는 칼마지 때 두고 그래 콜탁 때서는 탁 때 두고 그래 디만은 그런 거지 기도 그러지는 양고 치도 그래 니 돈도 숨지 때 수수룩 때니 그디 니마지 보딩 스쿨 로지기 로브레 때는 그 아발 나까진 저 간데차 니 분자들 돈룹서 니 분자들 까기 이야지 땅이 코랑이 부고다 아바담들 디 오니기 까지 땅이 디 가웅스가 말아왔네 그 돈도 숨지 수룩다 파켜 돌로 몸 숨지 수룩 때나 그 아발 같은 제가 웅수고 말해 돌로 몸 숨지 수룩 때봐 이나양 간선 세워서게 되는 나요 말해 디인도 세워서게 돈도 소당도 그래 빼나 기가랑서 당서 빼미 갈갑 그 돈달라 미카지 쫄려 당도 그 갈갑을 세워요 땅을 맞고 그 빼셨던 돈다 말아 세워서게 때라 파마게 부르 알가 세워다 디게 린당요 말해 세워서다 갈갑을 라이나 세워지게 요래 가시랑 게 되네 거라 운이기 릭슝다 출룩을 세워지게 된데 디 세워들 린당요 말해 디인도가 나랑 쪽에 파마게 부르 알가 세워들라 지금 엄마 땅 돌로다 에듀케이션 그 딘득이 지 땅이 세워지게는 디 미마래 돈나 때네 돈두가 삼노레스
this kind of attitude that so many people have these days, measuring the value of everything in money, is so extremely stupid and mistaken. I have a friend back in my homeland, a friend who's quite poor, and this happened, I think, 6 or 7, or maybe even maybe like more than 10 years ago. Anyway, quite a few years back. This friend is quite poor. He has a child. He's quite poor, and his child was in boarding school. But then it came one year to the point where he just wasn't able to continue paying the fees, so he had to take his kid out of school. And then one day I went to see him, and he told me this very sadly. You know, my kid's back at home. I'm not able to keep on paying the school fees, and he told me this very sadly. You know. And I asked him, well, how much is 1 year's school fees? And he said, oh, it's 36,000 rupees. So I said, oh, well, if you really are struggling, then I'm happy to sponsor the fees for 1 year. And then maybe later on we can help you find a sponsor, or someone will help, but at least for the meantime I'll help this year. And so I said that and offered my support. And at the time I was sitting with my friend, the father, his son, and also one of my brothers. And my brother, after I made this offer, my brother then kind of exclaimed. He said, "My goodness, Rinpoche, you're showing even greater kindness." Okay, so he said not to me, but my brother then turned to this child who was in the room with us and said, "This is amazing. You see, Rinpoche over here is showing you even greater kindness than your own father." And because he's giving money for your education that your father can't, even your father can't find the money for your education, but Rinpoche here is giving it to you. So your father, Rinpoche is showing you even greater kindness than your father. He said this like directly to this young child, in front of his father and me. And when I heard my brother say this, I was so saddened and just horrified. Actually, I almost cried, And immediately I rebuked my brother, and right in front of the father, the son, I rebuked my brother. I said, how can you be so stupid to say such an outrageous thing? I'm giving this just 36,000 rupee for this child. It's not even a very large amount of money, and I'm giving it just like once off. It's just a small amount of money to this child. Even if I were to give like tens or hundreds more than that, like I don't know, 36,000 or 36 million, or how, no matter how much, even if I were to give like so many millions more in money, still you couldn't even begin to say what you're saying, that I'm kinder to this child than his father, just because I'm giving him more money than his father can give him. I'm giving him this small amount of money, but his father, okay, he can't afford it right now, but his father actually loves this child enough to give his own life, If, like, say this child fell sick tomorrow with a failed kidney, this father would be ready to give his own kidneys, right, without hesitation, to make so many sacrifices in life, take on hardships, sacrifice his own happiness, to the point of giving up his own life for his child. Like, of that there's no doubt, that's the love that a parent has for their child. And you're comparing that to my 36,000 rupees, this is... So I rebuked my brother. I was just so horrified by what he'd said, because it's just, there is no comparison, right? There's just no comparison. Like I said, no matter how much money I or someone were to give, you could never equate that to the love that a parent has for their child, and the kindness that a parent shows to their child. So this is to say that love and care is just beyond material value, right? You cannot give it a material value because it transcends material value. Some people, and this is the case with love that parents have for their children and family. Also, some people show the same kind of same kind of love for their country or a cause. Like some people set themselves on fire, kill themselves by setting themselves on fire for the sake of their country, right? They're not doing that for money or for their own benefit, but out of their love for their country, they're willing to sacrifice their own life because of their love for their country or for a given cause. And of course, a parent is willing to do the same for their child, right? So this just shows love is, when we talk about parents' love and parents' kindness, that is something that transcends material value. There's no material thing can match the value of that. To think that you can give material value, like a number, to love is so stupid. Like, as stupid as an animal, That's
Ti indu kangla ta tsewa sakin de pemi ki kechan bores, te tsewa sakin ti tangbo pama la tsewa ji che, te pama ki tsewa ti na jing te ritu ki semjen tham chi ki ten tadi ki paya me kewa ngoma ni pama yin pa ti tini hakuwa che ni ten chanchu ki sem rumbu che, ngaran so te semjen chanchu ki semjen tham che sangi ki kopa rumbu che ngopar chao, nekab ki dewa la penpa cha o mara, gyu kazo chukpo yin na takpa tenpa yo mara, sukbu kazo zewo yo na nima chi na dhugre, shi dhugre, donna takpa tenpa ki ngobu kage yo gyu tammi na tamda nyata kari yin na nyingu yo mara, tela samlo tani tartuk nyingu yo pa te sangi ki kopa re, te rang chikpo mayen ba, semjen tham chi yang sangi ki kopa rumbu che la, chi ne kyang kopar chao, nyabi ki kulong chik, te tela chanchu ki sem sagres.
So we can see then in this way that the extraordinary kindness that our parents have for us, our parents of this life, and also then sort of through acknowledging the kindness of our parents in this life, we can then acknowledge also the kindness that all other sentient beings have shown us when they were our parents at some point in our many past lives. So in this way we can really come to acknowledge the kindness of all parent sentient beings and the wish to repay that kindness. But then when it comes to repaying, really feeling, so now we feel the need to repay this great kindness, this immeasurable great kindness of all mother sentient beings. But how to actually go about that? No matter how much we strive to fulfill the benefit of others in terms of like short-term goals, food and material wealth and well-being, that's not, it's only going to have a very short-term effect, because no matter how pleasant or comfortable you make someone's life, sort of mundane life, that is just a temporary solution, a very temporary short-term solution. The only real long-lasting true happiness that can be found is within the state of enlightenment. So we also then need to understand this, and then understand that, okay, now I need and want to repay the kindness of all mother sentient beings. The only way I can really do that is to establish them in enlightenment, which is the state of complete and ultimate lasting happiness. That's the only real benefit actually we can bring others. The only real benefit actually really, and the only way we can bring others. So then understanding this, then we give rise to the mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta, having acknowledged the extraordinary kindness of mother sentient beings, and then wishing to repay that kindness. Then in order to repay that kindness, we form the resolve to establish each and every one of them at the level of enlightenment, perfect enlightenment, so that they may experience ultimate, true, lasting happiness. And this enlightenment then we seek not just for ourselves, but actually for others, for all other beings who we know to be our mothers, have been our mothers in past lives.
야, 다네 다 출두게 인스테인도 강다 장주기 셈텔라 셈진 탐제 상기 공원은 보지는 거 버자워서 경기 셈텔라 셈제들 군접 셈제세 그래 군접 셈제텔라 몸바 장주기 셈단 주바 장주기 셈진 이 열에서 예와제나 몸바 장주기 셈세인데 셈진 탐제 상기가 살아 고투는가 치마는 이 셈진 탐제 상기 커버 쇼지 냐비기 로텔라 몸바 장주기 셈세레스 주바 장주기 셈슨 간서는 셈진 탐제 상기 공원은 보지 토버 제위체도 셈진게 저도 짐바당 수중송 서바금 존주송 삼든 냐버에 셔럽게 돈을 돌규티 팀 주바 셈지세레스 티 무스랑게 라렌다르규들 세거스 티나 몸바 셈제도 주바 셈지세거스 몸바 셈제는 주바 셈제디 자치하다 티니 야레스 몸바 셈제는 주바 셈비 자치레스 무스라렌다르규디.
So now I'm going to try and sum up. So to sum up, in conclusion, the wish to establish all sentient beings, the resolve to establish all sentient beings in enlightenment is, simply speaking, what we mean by bodhicitta. By relative bodhicitta. So the resolve to establish all sentient beings in enlightenment is the relative mind of enlightenment. Relative mind of enlightenment includes aspiration bodhicitta and application bodhicitta. Aspiration bodhicitta is the wish and aspiration that I may be able to establish all sentient beings in enlightenment. That aspiration, that it may be, wouldn't that be wonderful if only I could do this, is aspiration bodhicitta. Actually putting that aspiration into practice, so motivated by that aspiration, then engaging in generosity, in patience, in discipline, diligence, training one's mind in concentration, meditation, all of that is application bodhicitta. So applying oneself to generosity and the like in order to fulfill one's aspiration. And this application bodhicitta is more precious and valuable than aspiration bodhicitta.
다 딘속에 대화 축심보 겸나 준죽 되네 그러바게 용수자가 자가 쳐거든 대화 개바 겸나 되네 그러바라 니만 망보 고르기레스.
To give a really an in-depth, full explanation of these points, then we'd have to go through the entire way of a bodhisattva, the whole of that text, and that would take many, many days.
디 인디강라 다 군접 장축셈 다 돈덤 장축이 셈세레스 돈덤 장축이 셈세긴 디 강레스나 야드네 오니코라시나 동반이기 되세레스 동바 마스무 주바 나타위기 돈 냥타바랑 응도 규결 돈덤기 장축 셈세레 우만주 간사스나 가란조 야세랑라 지드나완데다 랑기세 셈기드네 트리뷰 타단타 딩이 시베 송진체만남 예레메체 야세라리 세규테다 우마 가란조게 쫀주나니 강생외다 의미다 로인드나 미네바 디슨 넘버심에 mikpam에 바랍도시 스타탄다 디조 탐지게 돈다지 시거든 저바 탐지 율율진기 된 저바 탐신들 자와 타시 타게 저도 소인이다 자비게 되네 또 도리텔라 되네 나란서 돈덤 장주기 셈세그레스 츠데 제들 나완다 랑게서 셈기 돈이 트비타단탈 딩이시비 송진체만나 예레미지 갸셀라레인스.
So ultimate body. Now then we have ultimate bodhicitta. Ultimate bodhicitta is, in short, emptiness. to have genuinely realized or manifested, to genuinely realized emptiness, profound emptiness which is beyond conceptual thought, beyond word, beyond description. That is ultimate bodhicitta, as it's described in the 37 practices of a bodhisattva. All appearances and experiences are the display of one's mind. The display of the mind. Mind itself is beyond conceptual extremes. So understanding this, it is the practices of bodhisattvas to remain free of concepts and clinging. To paraphrase the verse there, a similar verse is taught in the way of a bodhisattva, basically explaining that ultimate bodhicitta is the state of emptiness that is completely free of and beyond all dualistic concepts, perceptions of subject and object, beyond the four conceptual extremes, the eight extremes, and so on.
Tini ta tondam chanchu ge semdi chokal tini kegyu mara kunsup chanchu ge se ina ten lama dang tini ten cha chi mo kunjo range domba de choka ten treje domba lengyu yores ta te domba lengyu ge chokan jebe len dang dang ta domba te ge ten dang dang pe ya chi mo she ge yor ta tin so ta chi dang ge ta she na cha char ge ti indi kan ta dono kunsup chanchu ge semdi choka go ne lengyu yores tondam chanchu ge semdi choka go lengyu yo mar range gomni range ten to go de kegyu jires ti indi kan la ta te yang tini ngaran so din nang la ngaran so kansan do de gen nang la 상기 남니 ramye싱 소는 미시 소라사 최라메 또 이신이 계실때에 담브런도 센터 장축기 셈 돈덤 장축기 셈을 랑기 줄에 깨버려와라 되네 용진 담바 살라마 게위신이 되네 거르페 잡참 망볼라 되네 거 쳐버볼 소사 어디 군든 쉐슈 어야 용진 담바 되네 상기 남니 ramye 상기 제와트를 소는 미시 소라 소는 더 이시게 송이데 장수다고 지금 장미지게 송원도 송 되네 미톡바 담바사 되네 티인디강라 동반이게던 다시 남들 고숨게던 다시 좁아다 대비가랑라 되네 장미지 컨세스나 갈와 장미지게 원도 되네 곰잡로 중이게 티금 티숨게 상니 아 용전 담바다 즉 야 되네 거봐 소놈 담바다니 되네 남버 미톡바 담바 숨티 되네 거라 장미지게 소산 또 생이 되거다 되네 장미지게 되네 송원도 송하고 되네 돈덤 장주게 셈디 게가 요레스 데티나 딱 계속도 진짜지 계그랬어 반죠 소감게 내 값소 고위게 철도 절람게 내 값소 달람가 여러 절람게 내 값소 녀위게 철도 통람게 내 값나 또비게 철도 된 공롱게 내와 된 공네 공도 개박게 철도 된 밀롭게 람게 내 값소 된 상지게 살아더니 제파 탐지바네 상지게 신고도 겪었지 돈덤 장축했으면 이게 베른 바랬으니 페제다 진짜지 샤는 가 실수 죽지다 karma juze peche ler chade do de tin de kanada peche de shan dixare samgudus.
Ultimate bodhicitta is not something that can be generated through a ritual. Relative bodhicitta is something that you can give rise to through a ritual. All the details of this are found extensively in the scriptures. We will not go into these details, but this relative bodhicitta is generated through a ritual, which involves receiving a vow, taking the vow of bodhicitta formally in front of a guru or in front of the blessed supports of Buddha and so on. But ultimate bodhicitta, on the other hand, is not something that you can give rise to through a ritual by taking a vow, for instance. Rather, it's something that arises as a result of training. So you train and meditate on ultimate bodhicitta, and as a result, at some point you come to realize it. You realize emptiness, and that is called ultimate bodhicitta. It's explained in the ornament of the sutras that ultimate bodhicitta arises from three factors. First of all, from serving qualified teachers, virtuous spiritual friends, and receiving teachings from them extensively. Secondly, extensive accumulation of merit and wisdom. And thirdly, meditating upon sublime emptiness, profound emptiness, the meaning of the three gateways to liberation, or however we want to describe this. as the three great ways to liberation as emptiness can be described. So doing all of these three things for one continuously for one immeasurable eon, then as a result, after this one immeasurable eon spent in these three endeavors, ultimate bodhicitta will dawn within one's being. That's how it's explained in the ornament of the sutras. And in terms of how ultimate bodhicitta, the way in which ultimate bodhicitta dawns, it's explained that this differs as one traverses through the 5 paths. We have the 5 paths laid out as stages to enlightenment, right? First of them is the path of accumulation. So on the path of accumulation, ultimate bodhicitta dawns as an understanding, conceptual understanding. On the path of joining, then it dawns as a direct experience. On the path of seeing, as a direct encounter. On the path of meditation, then it is realized in a exalted, a special way. And then on the path of non-meditation, which is actually the state of enlightenment itself, then it is manifested fully and perfectly as you reach awakening, enlightenment. So that is how ultimate bodhicitta dawns. How and in what way, and the ways in which ultimate bodhicitta dawns. We've already run over time, so I think better I just conclude with these words and stop here.
Tene ta nga tare ke zonde Rigpa chosoro yongju gogo chonga gao chons. Tene ta lo ni dong chu lo yang tan bu che de du kabla tene Rigpa choso ke representation yang tan bu che ke de celebrate la ko general secretary se ta ming ji lab song an ta ming de teng min dusra te kong nga la France la show sentene lab song tene nge digres la wen te nga zo tende jini ma to che ke ma jums te talinga Australia de yung ju gi tuzela te kyan ba ge de ne ge chozo ke German de wat nga sa yung ne kyan ba sa de yung ro chi sal te nga pe ga u chung aran so la ma chulu de ne chirning ma yim ba tin na ne de ne kar ba tung go kyan zer ba che jab ju dun yung ba che zong sar de ne kang aran so kyan che chu gi lu ju gi ju ba aran so tam ju gi ba chik ba res de ne do ju ba che la so bi gi de ne da tin de gi de ne aran so tam che de ji ngo tu ma yung na yang tene mandi wiki chorok sita nga zo di nyung ngo shige marde nga ranzo chö tang dindriki gyun te nga ranzo tamche chorok chogo res te nga tene kenzo deya sa yung tene chigyu de gawo shira chung nga rang nying ma chere tene di tala kya ranzo deya chulu deya choso deya nying ma chere nga ranzo chö gyu go ne giba chigda del de gyo deya chidangi migin derwa pama punjaran derwa sagin deya tsa shimbore gyalkapchigi derwa sagin deya tsa shimbore deya lakbura to yang tenzo punja deya sen dila nga ranzo punja inge sechima ya punja ma imba sigire nga ranzo gyalkap talo nga Australia is kenzo ya kewa chima kenzo Nepal geni kenzo Nepal ila nga Australia geni nga Australia is na tiyang geba chamba yina yang marmi chigle tebi tingzin lama chigle tebi loma sagin te sang magi ge parto nyam to chogo yares tindu kala nga ranzo tamche dunjung boji ta tungu kenze tang dan zongsar kenze tang din na shin chigi nga ranzo lama ta tindi jinderwa indu nga ranzo checho te punja le kyan sa chares nation nga ranzo gyalkap sere sa chere nga ranzo tamche te ten sang magi parto nyam to chogo indu te nga ranzo kang manze ge tene di res tindu kya ranzo ngo ma she na ya nga zo ten tang go to na ya chugi go de nga ranzo nying ma tang gurun bucha sorwa ta bnga ta da sewa na ji tindigal ti du kala nga ranzo tabje mandi wiki shengin chen res mandi sa go do ho ya te ti res ti indu kang te trin kyan number tamje soba ge sozo sor ki ru tamjala nge tashi tel yus tene ta trin chuzin de te shagis.
And I've been very happy that I could come here to Rigpa today and visit the center and be here. Actually, in 2016, during the cremation of Yangtang Rinpoche, I think the General Secretary of Rigpa at the time. I met the General Secretary of Rigpa at the time. He told me his name, but I'm afraid I don't remember it. But anyway, a representative of Rigpa met me there and asked me to go to France in the future, the Rigpa in France. And I said yes. I accepted. But we didn't have any follow-up, so nothing further happened. But then this year, I came for the first time to Australia, and then at the beginning of my visit, then some of the chairmen of the centre, representatives of the centre, came to see me and asked me to come here, and I was very happy to be able to accept the invitation and come here because we all share the same gurus and follow the same tradition of Dharma. We're following the tradition and the teachers, the great teachers, Du Khyentse Rinpoche, Du Jun Rinpoche, Khyentse Chokyi Lodro, and of course other teachers like Du Drupchen Rinpoche. So we are all kind of connected in sharing the lineage of these masters, following the same tradition, the tradition of the Nyingma school. I am a follower of the Nyingma school, likewise are you. So our traditions, we are very closely connected through our Dharma traditions, lineages. So in this way, actually, we are like unacquainted Dharma siblings. We are Dharma siblings because we follow the same Dharma lineages, right? So we're all related, but until now we haven't met. So we're kind of, we can say we are unacquainted Dharma siblings. Of course, we can be connected to people through family or through country. So, like we have our siblings, in our families in this life, and then our fellow citizens of our respective countries. And these are all very precious and close connections. But these connections are limited just to this life, right? It's not sure. You cannot say for sure that you're going to be the sibling in this life is going to be your sibling in your next life, right? In this life, you're all born as Australians, and I as a Nepalese. But it might be the other way around in our next lives. Really, you could be born in Nepal and related to who knows who, family connections are precious, but much more precious than those connections are actually our Dharma connections. Because as Dharma siblings, we are connected to each other from now until enlightenment. This connection remains, right? As followers of the same lineage, pursuing enlightenment, we are connected not just in this life, but in every life from now until awakening. As it said, just like flames lit from the same butter lamp, Dharma siblings following the same Vidyadharas are connected, kind of inseparably connected. So our connection actually as Dharma siblings, unacquainted as it may be, is something much more precious and closer and long-lasting than even the connections we have with our own family and fellow citizens, actually, because we will be connected and together until enlightenment. So so again, I'm very happy to have been able to come and to see all of you, my unacquainted Dharma siblings. So tashi dile to everyone here, and I will stop here today. So now we'll dedicate the merit, all the merit, the roots of virtue that we've accumulated today.
Sonamdi tamje de bani tomne ngebe danam banje jenge ganaji balonju tibe solen dowa jo kandu giwe gewa tamje to tori yonden de den tabrajo gema ta do jodan so jende berawa yebrajo ten lama damba ngeje jengin dansen do chola jebrajo chodomne ne yingbo donjo de sebe gyanzonga sba dambe jero denje jeng den de la gyong ala me brajo labjen jeng den jori me tamje jamje sanje to barajo de je gunje to ge danza ba malam ginze ne so lami je ginro dendra konara da so ngiro jo jabal bawo jidre gemba dan gundo zombo den de jende da gunji je zo da gewan de da tamje rabdo ngo dembe bargyo la me jabe den zengyo zaten yon la ke dembe jinda nga dan demba yurin ne ve ja shi jo be meren lo nga giro zo ba jenge den yingbo shinda dunjum len kange sabdre demba minno shedan de benzen giro je ngangyo do je tek be demba ne jodo monta se do ge giro je kebra jamara nam ka kyong shedu dembe sa son kun kya jo domba jiden kamso jamba da demba yue shin do sarwa da denzen punu shin do demba yurin ne ve ja shi jo la so sar son sta